Hi everybody, this is foXnoMad, and today I want to help you travel smarter by reviewing the GORUCK GR2 40-liter backpack, road tested after 3 months of use and travel. So I'm really excited to do this road tested because I've taken this GORUCK GR2 across 3 continents on planes and trains over extensive travel over the last 3 months. And the GR2 is a backpack that's just pretty much known for being ultra durable. It's literally bomb proof. So this backpack, I was really excited to test it out, and no spoilers, but it held up pretty well. In terms of the physical durability of this backpack, it really showed its strengths. But in terms of the usability, I began to see some flaws, which means that this might not be the ideal backpack for all kinds of travelers. Now, if you haven't seen my road tested series before, it's essentially where I take a product and I use it over a long period of time, over months, over years, and see how well it holds up. It's one of the most important characteristics. If you're traveling, you want your products to be very durable, and most reviews of products are when they first come out. So it's difficult to get a gauge of how durable something is when you first get it. So hopefully a road tested review gives you an idea of how good a company makes a product, which gives you kind of an indication of how well their future products are going to be by looking at how well they've made products in the past. When it comes to the GR2, I took this thing from London up to the Scottish Highlands, up to Germany, to Turkey, to the United States, across hundreds of miles of trains, I don't know how many flights, and I really put this through all kinds of weather tests. So in rain, in sunny weather, in hot weather, in cold weather, you name it, this thing has experienced it. Looking at the exterior of the bag, there are a couple of these little stray threads that I was a little bit worried about when I first got the GR2, but those really just stayed in their place. They didn't unravel. Nothing on this bag really unraveled, and if anything, the more I used this backpack, the better worn in it became. And the bag, when I first got it, was very stiff. So when you get a GORUCK, when you get a GR2 at first, it's going to have this very stiff feel, and it's not going to be very comfortable at all, especially on the shoulder straps and on the back, and how the material just sort of feels. It's a very rigid bag when you first get it, and it takes about 4 weeks of regular use for this backpack to get worn in. And that means the zippers, so the zippers are going to be a lot easier to pull around, especially on the corners. The fabric becomes more soft, so it's easier to open up this backpack, and it's so durable you can just tear this backpack open up. You don't even have to unzip it, you can just rip it apart. And it makes the fabric much more easy to use. It's softer, it's less abrasive on your clothing, which is one thing that I did notice, which I'll get to in a minute. And overall, it takes you about 4 weeks to really get a good feel of the GORUCK on how it works. If you're gonna get a GORUCK GR2 and you're worried about the price, or you don't want to spend $300+ on a backpack, I would check out eBay and see if you can get a used one, because it's already going to be broken in for you, and you can really get a feel of how that backpack is going to be worn like. So what it's going to feel like after extended periods of use can save you a little bit of money, so that might be an option for you. And speaking of the abrasiveness on clothing, if you watch my original review, I'll link to that up there. If you watch my original review, you'll notice that I mentioned that this backpack does tend to sort of cause pilling on your shirts. What that means is the backpack rubs against your lower back, and that causes the cotton, or especially if you use a tri-blend shirt, or if you have a tri-blend shirt, that's going to create these little cotton little balls on the back, on your lower back and around your shoulders, and it sort of wears through shirts very quickly. One thing I noticed over time, so I got a couple of new tri-blend shirts, which you can pick up in the foXnoMad shop if you want to get some foXnoMad merch. But what I noticed in the second month of using the GR2, I noticed that the back actually got worn down just a little bit. It got a little bit softer, almost soft enough not to be so rough on clothing. It still causes some pilling, but it wasn't as terrible as it was in the beginning. So just know that if that's something that you're concerned about, if you wear this backpack often, maybe just wear like a thick jacket with it, maybe get it in the winter, maybe just sort of wear it down first, and then you can start wearing tri-blend or cotton or lighter shirts with this backpack. So all of that said, the backpack is very durable. It's easy to clean. You don't want to throw this in the washing machine, but you can easily wash it with soap from the outside. You can spray it down. It holds up against water very well. So I've had this backpack in Scottish downpours, tons of rain, and it didn't let any water in. So it's a very good water resistant bag. It's not officially waterproof, but it's going to handle a lot of extended range, so that's not going to be an issue for you. Now, when it comes to the usability, the more worn in the bag became, the easier it was to use, but there were just some things that I noticed that I just didn't like about this backpack. One of the first things is that it doesn't have a quick grab pocket, so you have this big pocket on the front where you can use it as a quick grab pocket, but it's a really thick pocket. And what I mean by that is it's got a lot of internal space. The problem is if you fill up that pocket with, let's say, headphones or something that's a little bit thicker, it's going to push well into the main compartment. What that means is you're going to be cutting off sort of the top of your backpack. In other words, you can't really stuff out the backpack as efficiently because you're going to have that front pocket that's just completely full. Maybe something like a quick access pocket on the very top, so an additional pocket on the top near that handlebar would be a little bit easier to use, but just note that that quick grab pocket is not going to be as easily accessible as it is on many other travel focused bags. Also, these internal pockets look like a really good idea, but because they're flat and they don't have any depth, they're not very useful. When you try to stuff those internal pockets with anything that has any kind of depth, again, it pushes into the main compartment. This is the 40 liter version of the GR2 you're looking at, and it's a bag that's the smaller side of 40 liters. Liters aren't very consistent across backpack manufacturers. It's not a very good way to measure the size of a bag in general. It's not very good when you're trying to narrow down the specific size of a backpack. But given that this is a 40 liter backpack, when you fill up those internal pockets that don't have any depth, really pushes into the main compartment, and it takes away a lot of the space from the main compartment, which makes it less usable. And there are two things about the laptop compartment that you should know. One is the laptop compartment is very thin. It barely has any depth. And what it did was it caused a lot of pressure on my backpack, especially when I filled up the GR2. In fact, it caused so much pressure that it actually put the back case of my laptop, of my MacBook Pro, just a little bit out of alignment. So it's a little bit out of alignment, it needs to be readjusted. And that's because this 15-inch MacBook Pro barely fits in that compartment. And when the bag is stuffed, it really puts a lot of pressure on your laptop. Another thing about that laptop compartment, which is bomb-proof, literally, is that the back lining that touches your back is very hot. It doesn't breathe at all. So when you're walking around an airport or walking around a city, you're gonna sweat a lot. It doesn't have any amount of breathable space in there, which unfortunately when you're traveling, when you're walking in an airport, isn't really ideal. Maybe if you had a smaller laptop or a 13-inch or a thinner laptop, it'd be okay, or a tablet or something like that. But if you carry a 15-inch MacBook Pro, I wouldn't trust this backpack to carry it for long periods of time. It's gonna put a lot of pressure on your laptop. And one thing I didn't think I would miss as much as I ended up missing it is a water bottle holder. Yes, you have these MOLLE straps where you can hook one onto, but it's not very convenient, and having a water bottle holder is just so much easier to deal with when you're in an airport and when you're traveling, and it saves space from the interior of your backpack, and it's just one of those things that I've realized a good travel bag should include. One thing that I like about the GR2 is it's got this very thick bottom, which means you can just plop it down on the ground. You don't have to worry about anything on your inside of your bag breaking. You don't have to worry about the bag being damaged. It's extremely durable, but all of that durability and padding and strength comes at a price, and that price is weight. This backpack is heavy. When you're carrying it around with a lot of electronics, camera gear, a laptop, all of that stuff, and you're sweating, you really notice quickly how heavy this backpack is. It's not so big that it couldn't be used as a daily carry, but it is too heavy to use as a daily carry. If you're walking around a city to explore and you've got the GR2 on, your back is going to start hurting quickly, especially if you've got just a camera and a laptop. Even if you're not really stuffing this backpack, that weight is going to wear on you very quickly, which makes it not an ideal day pack. And honestly, when you're walking around in an airport, it's really not the ideal travel bag. This is a great backpack if you use it for clothing only. If you go rucking, if you're going to carry weights and run around this hiking, this is a bag that's ultra durable for those conditions, but it's almost too durable. It almost has too much durability for regular travel. You're not going to put this backpack through its paces in an airport or on a train, or even just hiking around the Highlands of Scotland. To really test the full durability of this backpack, it's going to be like a camping, hiking, hunting kind of backpack, something that you take outdoors, that you really stuff up with a lot of gear, a backpack that's going to get extremely dirty, a backpack that's gonna see a lot of the outdoors and a lot of the elements. This backpack is really just too sturdy to be practical for the average traveler. I say all of that and I love this backpack. I really love that I didn't have to worry about it at all. I love that I don't have to worry about it getting nicked and cut. I don't have to worry about throwing it on a park bench. I don't have to worry about it on the airplane. I don't have to worry about how I treat this bag at all, except for my laptop. My laptop is in there. You got to be very careful. Again, a lot of pressure on the laptop compartment. But I love that this backpack is just the kind of backpack that's like, hey, I'm ready to go with you on any kind of adventure. I won't fail. I'm there. The problem is when you're in an airport on a layover and you've got this heavy thing on your back, it's also going to remind you that, hey, I'm here and you can feel me on your shoulders. For a bag this heavy, the weight is distributed up really high, so it makes it as comfortable as it can be for a heavy backpack, but it's a little bit too heavy for most travelers. So there you have it. That's my road tested of the GORUCK GR2, the 40 liter. It's a backpack that's extremely durable. It's just an extremely durable backpack, but it might not be usable for most travelers. If you're an outdoorsy type of person, if you're gonna really take this thing into the great outdoors, then this is a backpack that you should really consider looking at. If you're more of a weekend traveler, or if you're more of somebody who's just gonna be taking airport trips, taking a train, staying at an Airbnb, walking around the urban jungle, then I think the downsides of this backpack really outweigh the durability benefits. So hopefully this review has been helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'll have new videos for you every week. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.